What is shaking YouTube? Good afternoon, everyone. pretty exciting. We are moving into a pretty decent zone here. Bad news for Bitcoin. Cannot break this wall at 98. Take a peek here at the 50 EMA. Pretty tough nut to crack here on the daily time frame. Come on, 50, pop up. There you are. There you are, you little cutie. So there you go. We rejected off it yesterday. We're rejecting off it today again. Good news is we're still trading above that 100 EMA, but yeah, they're looking a little bit sticky here. Looking a little bit sticky. Now, good news is that yesterday we did have a really great day up, and today we've already swept the previous day's high. So yesterday's high has been taken, which probabilistically speaking means we're not going to absolutely dump today, but there's a couple of very interesting places on the chart, and we're hitting one right now. Look at that. So we have that old support zone here. You're sick of this BTC? Yeah, I understand. I understand. Bitcoin gets really boring, man. It gets really boring. It does a lot of ranging, but fear not, CryptoYark. Still pretty decent places to take trades, like where we are right now. We'll get down on a lower time frame in a second. Watch this reaction as it happens. We've got the previous day's open here. We've got Friday's close here. And we also have this old support and resistance zone from way back when. It's one of my big levels. These are my big support and resistance zones that I've got in this range. All right, so this is a definite possibility. Now, the beauty of a day like today, all right, when we've already taken the previous day's high, like I said, so probabilistically speaking, we're not going to take the previous day's low, but we do have a very nice buying tail down here. We've got a great half-hour order block down here. This zone that we're entering into right now, if you take it from yesterday's low, all right, we've got this golden pocket in here as well, right? The 618 is pretty much right on top of the previous day's open, okay? And if we look to take it from the low, it's going to be coming in right into that order block and at the base of this fair value gap here on the 15-minute chart, all right? So there's a couple of really decent areas down here as well that we could be looking for. But right now is pretty critical. Okay, so we've breached previous days sort of support levels that I created for us in terms of volume profiles. And now here we are hitting into this zone. So let's check out the old Viking technology here and start taking a bit of a look here. We do have some nice dips coming in here on the 1-minute chart. Let's take a peek if any higher time frames are saying anything. I highly doubt they will, but yeah, no, not even on the 12. So let's just take this to the 3. Nothing. So right now, if you're looking to trade this momentum wise, it's not a great looking trade, but when you're trading reversals, a lot of times you're not really looking for momentum. All right, hitting a key level here. It does look like that was a real nice selling candle right into this zone. Shaved bottom there, not what you want to see at the bottom. All sell. And that is our pre-market open. So pre-market dumps right off the bat into this support zone. Looks like it could be front running that previous day's open / Friday's close. But let's keep an eye on this and see how this plays out over the next few minutes. Trading below the 20, trading below pretty much every substantial EMA that there is on the 1-minute time frame. All right, so positives to take away from this. Again, we have taken the previous day's high. All right, here we can see in that was the last volume node. Looks a little bit more substantial than it should really. If we look at it on the 30-minute chart, you'll see that it's really non-existent. All right, down here, not much of volume at all. Just migrate to NQ. Yeah, baby, we're going there. We're going there. That's what we're trying to do here. That's what we're trying to do. We got to get Andy and Crypto Viking on the NQ full time. And then yeah, that'll be not easy to pull off. But we're gonna be focusing a lot on NQ. Going to be doing pretty much 50-50, which is something, you know, on YouTube we'll focus on whatever people ask for. But in the Discord group, we're of course still going to be monitoring all kinds of crypto shenanigans. But NQ, that's really where it's at anyways. I mean, so let's get back down to the lower time frame here and start checking this out here. So we can see we you know, the money flow is not looking good right now. We are getting our momentum divs kicking in here. So let's just check out if we can put in a quick low here. As you mentioned, if we don't sweep Monday's highs, the 86% chance we will not go higher till all week. If we don't sweep Monday's high, we already swept Monday's high, right? So Monday's high has been swept. So what we have to do now, right, in terms of playing those odds out, all right, so we've swept the high. Highly unlikely that we're going to come down and sweep the low. So if we do come down here, this tail looks really great again. There's a couple things that we can look for in between this support here, but here it goes. It looks like it's going to start pumping up. So it hasn't quite given us an in yet here. No great looking entries, but now it's starting to look like it could pump away here. Now I'm happy to wait for the New York Open to see what they're going to get on about here. So if I was looking to enter a trade right now, all right, which could happen, I'd be looking to take profit pretty darn quick and shore up my stop loss, hoping that the old washing machine cycle doesn't get turned on for the New York Open. Remember, again, we're waiting on CPI data comes out tomorrow. So this could be just a little bit of a accumulation / induction period here where they're just getting people all confused and discombobulated, not knowing which way to look. All right, but you know, we are hitting this massive wall up here. It just seems to be really tough for Bitcoin to get through here. But again, positive news. We probably won't be going too much lower today, all right? Now, the crazy thing about these stats on previous days is that when we're looking at these, the big news comes out tomorrow in terms of previous days levels, right? Because we're going to establish now our initial balance for the week, Monday and Tuesday. So far, this is our initial balance high, and Monday's low is our initial balance low. And whichever one we take, that's sort of the idea that we go with, right? So that's the most important thing, is what happens after Tuesday. All right, and that doesn't mean if we take, you know, let's say for example, tomorrow we open and we take Tuesday's high, it doesn't mean that we're just going to pump. But if you start looking for longs on the pullback, you'll be well served, all right? Yeah. So let's just see if these guys, pre-market looking like they're just going to do the quick dump. All right, we'll just slap a little text on this bad boy here. All right, pre-market low. And we'll just start adjusting this as it comes so we get our bearings here. Let me just turn that noise down. Come on now. And we've got our pre-market high kicking in. All right. So yeah, that's pretty exciting for me. Now this zone here is very close, right? We're not too far away from it. So, you know, this is still well within the realms of possibility coming down and hitting into this tail. And this will be a great zone to be looking for along with high probabilistic statistics on your side. All right, because we shouldn't really take this low. Okay, it doesn't mean it can't happen. It does happen, right? So today might be one of those days that it happens, but if you're looking to get in, if you have a good signal flash here, then you can use this as a confluence factor, right? So another reason why you would be excited about that tail. Very nice. And let's see what we can do. We also got a tail up here at 100, which is just screaming for us to get up there. But let's see how this settles down here today. All right, if we take a peek at the NASDAQ, I'm going to talk quickly about the spectacular nature of the Friday closes, all right? So let's just head back here. Oh, I'm on the 30-minute chart. Wow, I'm freaking myself out here. Okay. I really am complicating things today. So the Friday close from last week is very similar to the Friday close this week. All right, quite astonishing. Make sure I got that on right. Nope. I'm on the wick. All right. Let's see what happens when we hit into this, but you can see how, you know, there's your Friday close. The previous Friday's close still pretty relevant coming into the zone. So be aware of that sort of stuff. All right, and you'll find the same thing on Bitcoin. It'll really work the same way. Now the NASDAQ, we haven't quite been able to test any of the previous day's levels yet. So let's see what New York decides to bring to the table on that. So it's kind of a bit of an open game here. Let's go check out Bitcoin on that same sort of premise with these Friday closes. Let me get rid of this real quick. Then we'll get back on that 1 minute chart and see what kind of ins she has given us. Okay, there's your Friday close. Monday, I mean, it is hitting into a zone, right? But it's just confluence. It's really quite amazing how well the Friday closes get respect. So keep an eye on those all the time. Friday's close, have them marked out. They really do work wonders. Okay, so you're actually getting a little bit of a signal there now on that scalping strategy we were talking about yesterday. All right, so nice fair value gap created, price comes back in, And now you're getting that local bottom. So it's giving you that little scalp signal there. Bit of a tough time to be trading this right now, I'm not going to lie. We're pre-market, pretty volatile coming into the New York Open. But it is starting to kind of give us a little bit of a signal there. Now, money flow not looking great here, still putting in lower lows, so we're not overly anxious to be getting in on this, but let's see how this continues to play out here. All right, moving back out. "30-minute chart." So you see down here, like we've got this little tiny volume peak here, but it's very minimal. And so this zone down here just starts to look so nice. All right, yeah, we've got fair value gaps. Like I said, yeah, that's weird. We don't really have any daily, monthly levels, weekly levels anywhere around us either. They're all way above or way below. So pretty tough negotiating this Bitcoin right now. That I would have to say, but that would be real nice in there. Let's just bring this back down. Actually, we'll bring it to the 5 and see what the good old 20 EMA is saying here. And it's not quite ready. That's pretty spectacular, though. You know, when you enter, do you enter market, limit, chase? So I enter on market almost always. The only thing I'll enter a limit order once in a while is if I'm not 100% sure. So let's say we've got a big zone and there's a few different spots in there that I'm really interested in. I will ladder in. So my first initial entry will be a market order, and then I'll set up limit orders. Let's say if it's a golden pocket, for example, and I want to get in on a reaction off of 618, then I'll take that market order, and then I'll place a limit order halfway between the 618 and the 66 or 67, however you play your golden pockets, and then I put one at the deep end of the golden pocket. But I would, you know, split my position in 3 different entries, right? So I wouldn't be increasing or chasing a loser. I would just be laddering in, and sometimes you'll only get one fill, and it'll be partial, and that's it, right? And then to take profit, I limit out for the most part. But yeah, as I like to watch reactions, I generally market in. All right, so this is we can go over this real quick once we got 12 minutes here. So educational purposes, you guys are going to hear me say a lot of the same stuff all the time, because it really does. It's strange how when you're learning to trade, there's so much information that the real juicy basics will kind of escape you, and you're always looking for this weird magic formula, right? Which doesn't really exist. The basics are the best. But we do have this zone here, right? This is a resistance zone that we're coming up into. And if you're looking to scalp this on the 5-minute chart on BTC USD, this is absolutely gold here, all right? So you hit into that zone, you start to create this wedge shape here, which could be an ascending triangle, and then it starts to break to the bottom, all right? You break that 20 EMA on a 5-minute candle, and that is your entry right there. Stop loss right above the signal candle. It doesn't have to be above the high, because if it breaks back above, yeah, you're pretty much invalidated, right? A lot of times you'll get these little fake outs, something like this, right? Fake it out. So breaks below on the 5-minute chart, below the 20 EMA, that's your entry. Stop loss right above there. So you're what do you do with emotions? I do what men are supposed to do with emotions. I bury them deep and never talk about them. No, I'm kidding. Well, like I think that's very personal. All right, we'll just talk about this real quick. So, at the end of the day, you get a real nice little move there. All right, tiny scalp, but cute move nonetheless. And then the same thing up here. All right, breaks, stop loss above there, and that's where you get your real move. Okay, I traded today TST and got stopped, and I felt super nervous. Previous, I tried to trade out once to get my money back. Yeah, never trade to get your money back. Trade on the new trade. All right, so you have to establish some rules for that, right? Number one is discipline is key, and patience. All right, those are the first. So I have a little thing written, like a little plaque here, and the first thing it says is exactly that: discipline and patience. All right, so never try to make money back, try to make money. All right, don't think about your loss too much. Learn from your loss, but don't think about it like, oh, I got to get that money back, right? So analyze it, don't think about it. If you're nervous, you're probably trading with too much capital. All right, you're opening way too big of a position and you're risking way too much because you want to make money. And that's not what you want to do. When you start trading, your last goal should be to make money. Your first goal should be to learn how to trade. And as soon as you start putting live money on the table, your emotions are going to get the best of you for the most part. Now, I have a very long background of practicing martial arts, combat sports, and I studied a lot of Asian philosophies and disciplines, and I have practiced meditation for a long time. So since my early 20s, I started to kind of understand the falsehood of my emotions and what they kind of are. So for me to talk about my emotions is a little bit strange because I've never really taken my emotions too seriously. When I was a child, yeah, but after I was like 30 years old, they didn't really bother me too much. I never, if I am emotional in any way, I'm very aware of it. And I'm also aware that it's pretty fleeting. They don't really mean much. So if you find yourself in a position and it doesn't feel good, or it's making you nervous, anxious, you're definitely trading with too much capital and you don't trust what you're doing, right? So you can only be nervous if you don't trust what you're doing, because at the end of the day, we don't know the outcome. Every time you enter a trade, it could go either way. That's just the way it is. And you have to accept that fact, number one. And number two, you have to be trading something that you think is going to win. And that only comes from statistical data, right? So that's what I would say about that, right? Ask yourself, why did you take the trade? All right, post the trade in the group, CryptoYark. Just get some feedback on it. People can tell you maybe what you missed, what you saw, right? You want to keep it really basic, right? But it's exactly what you were talking about yesterday. Like when you start learning a bunch of stuff, you really start kind of second guessing yourself, but it's not bad. Like up here, right? We're talking about this little entry here on the 5-minute compared to this one, we got 6 minutes. All right, would you take this short here as price is moving up and putting in higher highs and higher lows? Personally, I would not. But then if we go out to that daily time frame and you see up here, we hit perfectly into that 50 EMA, that's one that I would take. And I wouldn't take this one simply because the 50 EMA was right there. And I'd just be waiting for that, right? Right, so price comes into it and then rejects, and that's and that could go either way, right? You still don't really know. We put in a nice bullish candle, but we sweep the previous day's high, getting into that EMA. It's such a good place to look for a stop hunt. it just makes so much sense, right? So that's really it. Like you've really got to be comfortable with understanding that you know what you're doing in here. And if you are second guessing yourself, you're going to be nervous, right? And if you're second guessing yourself, it means you're not prepared to either trade with the amount of capital you're trading with, or that you're not prepared in theory, and you need to just do some more paper trading or back testing and front testing, and get yourself in order, right? And accept the fact, right? Even if you have a 60% winning strategy, you're still going to lose potentially 40 trades in a row out of 100, right? So that's just going to happen. So you got to be real true to your system. And that's about it. That's the way I would see it. And then get married. That's also great, because your emotions don't matter anymore once you're married as a man. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. That is, I gotta get all the feminists in here. No, he's talking shit. It's a joke. That's a joke. Okay. All right, I'm supposed to say hit those like buttons if you like what you're seeing. Well, hit them anyways, even if you don't like it. Hit something, hit the unlike button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you like, and we have a Discord community. The link is in the description if you want to come in and get access to some TA from various people. You're more than welcome to join. Ask all the questions you want. You'll always get feedback. Very chilled environment, very relaxed bunch of guys. Nobody takes themselves too seriously. It's hard to calculate position size in real time based on stop loss. Would be simpler to just have a fixed size. Well, it depends like what you're looking at, right? So bad financial advices. Yeah. So if you're trading the 1 minute chart, for example, right? So let's say we're looking at this, like this is now starting to flash us a pretty decent little signal here. All right. So if I was going to grab this trade, I'd be trading it up to this high right now. This could just be a little two-legged pullback. So that's what I'd be looking to smash, but I might have to take that. So I would quickly just analyze how much price range this is from where we are to there. You know, that's not enough for me to hop into trade. Neither is that. So I would just walk away from it. But let's say that I was going to put my stop loss below this low. All right, I could quickly calculate that at 0.32%. If I'm only going to risk 5% of my account, then I could get in with, you know, let's see here, at 10x leverage, that would be 3.2%. So I could get in with about 25% of my account if I wanted to take a 1% risk, and I could get in with about 7.5% of my account if I wanted to take a 0.5% risk, right? So quick math, you know, you do have to do it. If you do a fixed size, you know, it doesn't account for your stop loss, the fixed size, and that's the most important part of your criteria, right? So let's go back up to this example here. Where was the original hit? All right, hit down on this 5-minute chart. Okay, so you hit into the levels you're looking for. Account size, 0.3p equals position size. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'll explain it a little bit better. Sorry, Gabriel. Might not have made sense what I just said. Just check out what this get out of here. What this New York Open is doing. All right, so we've swept all the, no, we haven't. Just go in and grab that little low, come into this fair value gap, and then go. Okay, so this is what I'll say, Gabriel. I always, for the most part, I trade with the same leverage, all right? Unless I'm starting to build a swing position, I'll start with less leverage and then add as I move on, right? So let's just look at this case here, and we'll assume that we're going to use the 5-minute chart. No confusing. Wait. Okay, no confusing. Wait. So you get your signal here on this candle. All right, we've hit into our level. We've tapped into that daily 50 EMA. We get a good reaction off of it. And then the 20 EMA holds you up a little bit. And then finally it breaks. So this is your confirmation for entry candle. And so you're going to enter your position right here as soon as that candle closes. So if you look up real quick, your stop loss has to be just above this candle. Okay, and it's at 0.05%. So if I'm trading with 10x leverage, that is going to be a 0.5% stop loss. All right, I might want to put it up a little bit higher, maybe 0.06 or 7, but let's just assume that it's this. All right, that's going to be with 10x leverage, it's going to be a 0.5% stop loss. And so at that point, I can throw my whole account in here, because if I'm willing to risk 0.5% of my account per trade, that's exactly what that stop loss is. And I could throw the whole thing in there for a 10x trade. Okay, then I would have to be targeting potentially this low or this low or this low, but they're all too small. I wouldn't. So this is what I'd eventually end up targeting, somewhere down here, most likely around this point of control for the day at about 0.5%. And then that would make it worth my while. Then it just keeps moving. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Like, I just know that when I'm trading at 10x leverage, every time I look at a potential entry, you know, here's another one. It's going to be a little bit different. Price comes back up, starts to dump back down. So now we're talking about a 0.14. So at 10x leverage, that's going to give me a 1.4% stop loss, meaning that I will be looking to use about 33% of my account on that, because if I want to keep it at 0.5% risk, then that is just what I'm going to have to do, right? Because 1.4%, that's close enough to 1.5%. So I don't have to sit there calculating it and, you know, busting out all kinds of trigonometry and, you know, don't make it too complicated. And you'll just get good at that on the 1-minute chart. Now, if I'm looking for a swing trade, then it's much different, because you have days, potentially weeks, potentially months to be able to formulate where your entry is going to be and what kind of stop loss you're looking at, right? So I hope that makes sense. It's your stop loss is the most important thing when it comes to your risk reward ratio, and every entry is going to be slightly different. Like, you can't have just a random number that you choose for your stop loss, like 0.5%, let's say. That's not a wise thing to do, because conditions are going to be different on every entry. Hope that makes sense. All right, so New York not bringing much heat, but hitting into this golden pocket right here. And now just kind of stalling out. But not on the NASDAQ, baby. Look at that. Oof. Yeah, gotta love that. Just a quick 70 points, 75 points. No big deal, says New York. Bitcoin won't move. Hold my beer, says New York. That is a massive opening range. Wow. Whoa. And then on the NASDAQ, it's going to be even different. If you're trading futures, this is highly leveraged, right? So figuring out your stop losses on NASDAQ is even more confusing. Open range, BTC is boring. I think what you meant to say there is BTC is boring. I think that's what you meant to say there, Crypto. No, I'm kidding. BTC is the most exciting thing in the world. That's what I'm supposed to say. But truly, it's not. Truly, it is not. It's pretty exciting. Like if you could just be real patient with Bitcoin, right? Like this is the problem with Bitcoin, all right? And it's not really a problem. It's a problem with the way people are presented with cryptocurrency, all right? And it takes a long time for people to kind of get out of that crypto mindset because when people get into crypto, they listen to a lot of strange stories and theories about it. Let me just close this out. And I know I keep saying this, but it really has to be said constantly for people to actually start thinking about it. So we're obviously just trading in a range, right? And everybody keeps asking, do you think we're going to 70K? Do you think we're going to 115? Do you think we're going to 125? And, you know, we have to answer these questions because we're being asked them. But at the end of the day, it is a ridiculous question to ask. Why would you be thinking about 70K or 125K if you're just trading in a range between 110 and 90? So instead of getting, that's very emotional already, right? You're already going to make yourself emotional and anxious. That's the nature of anxiety, right? The difference between anxiety and depression. You're depressed because of things that happened in your past, and you're anxious because of things that you think about or dwell on that haven't happened yet in the future. So it's really bizarre for people to do that. And you never see that in any other real trading and investment environment other than crypto. Crypto is emotionally designed for some reason. We can all question the motives on that. I would assume, personally, my opinion, which doesn't mean that much, I understand that, is that most of crypto is a scam. Most of it are rug pulls. All the influencers get paid by projects. All the influencers are making money off of affiliate links and scamming people in a nutshell. Some of them might not do it on purpose, but at the end of the day, you're being sold something, all right? And the more emotional you are, the easier it is to sell you stuff, right? So it's not really boring if you can just sit back, you know, take a short, ride it down for a monstrous 20% move, right? Take a long, ride it up for a 10% move. You've still got that long open. You've already hit 3 take profits on it, let's say. It's not really that boring, but what's boring is constantly thinking about where's this going? What is it? It's exhausting. And at the end of the day, it doesn't help anybody. Who cares where it's going to go? It doesn't matter. Might go to 250. People keep saying that. Do you think Bitcoin will go to 2? It might. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. All I know is right now we're at 96K. We're trading in a range. And that's it. Oh, you mean today? The range is pretty small. Yeah, the range is pretty small, but we have had a cracker of a day yesterday. It moved pretty well. And now we're just getting our pullback, and it looks like this is the zone that's going to hold. Or now. But don't get too worried about the boredom on the small time frames. All right, that's another thing I would stress. So here is our New York opening range. Okay, once again, I'll stress I use the first pivot candles on the 1 minute chart to find my opening ranges. Crypto Viking uses the first 5 minutes. All right, so this would be his. I prefer this personally, but to each his own. And now we're just going to be in our little range here, and then it'll start showing us what we're going to break out on. This is actually a very nice place to be right now, because again, this is a support level here. It's a 4-hour support zone. Okay, if we break down from here right now, wait for that retest and then continuation to the downside. It's really good when New York opens around these zones and not Asia or London, because they're generally not quite as adept at breaking resistance and support zones. All right, so this could easily move back down here. If it does, you wait for the retest and you short it. If it does not, and we start to push to the upside, we're finding support here, fair value gap, golden pocket, one of my favorite setups that I look for off of opens. And it looks like we're going to start going. Let's see if we can break the pre-market high, and then continue on. And this would also go to the question that we had yesterday about ICT concepts, right? I'm not a big fan of ICT concepts. They didn't make any of that stuff up. I know they claim they invented order blocks and stuff, but order blocks are as old as Elliott waves, if not older. So they didn't invent any of the stuff. They might have had different names, but they didn't invent any of it. So this is how I like to use them. All right, I don't need to go on 6 different time frames, find all kinds of different gaps, and then get down to the 1 minute or 3 minute and then watch for price to move away and create a gap. I know that I'm coming into a support zone. We hit it, fair value gap is created, golden pocket in the fair value gap, it hits. That's what I need. If possible, can you look to TST and say that was in resistance roll, so we failed down from 0.25, maybe patterns or candles? Let's take a quick peek here. TST. Oh, just hit a take profit there on the cheesy challenge. All right, nice. Let's see here. TST. I don't want to change that one. I'll change this one. Do I have TST in my watch list? No, I don't. Where are you trading at, Crypto Yark? See if we get some point P's here. Just spot on Bybit. Binance, MEXC. One more time, I'm sure spot shitcoins is shit. Well, it's a really weird time to be buying alts. Like it's not recommended, man. It is really not recommended. We'll talk about that quickly before we get the heck out of here. So I'll just check out the MEXC chart here for perpetuals. No, I won't tell you you're an idiot. Don't worry. I save that for other types of people. Okay, let us get rid of this. Yeah, here on the 15. Okay, so you say you took it at 25. Ouch. Or hold on, you didn't take it at 25. It's no resistance roll, so we fell from 25, maybe patterns or candles. Okay, so you fell from 25, but don't know why we fell from 25. Hopefully you didn't buy it at 25, because that's the absolute top. That's horrible. So first thing you can see here is we've got a low, a lower high, a lower low. We get some internal rotation inside of this range, and then price breaks above it and hits right into this obvious little zone here. I took it at 18. Okay, so we hit that little zone. That's pretty obvious, right? And then what we're looking to see is if we can confirm a high or low now, and then come back and take this high, right? So the first step of changing market structure is putting in a new high. We've done that, so that's good. And now price is coming down into the lows, which we always look for something to hold, and then hopefully they can start to get us back up there. So losing the golden pocket, so I can understand why you bought the 0.18. Yeah, right around there. So that I understand. Okay, we've got this low here, which is a cute little place to be thinking about sweeping liquidity. Then we've got this low, not much there, not much there. So this is really the only order block here that I can see on the 15-minute chart. It got zero reaction. It just destroyed it. Okay, so what I would suggest to you is you're looking at an order block here. So the box is coming in at around 18. You get zero reaction from it. Let's take a peek at the lower time frames as it comes down. Oh, you actually do get a nice reaction from it. Hi, I've shared my today's trade in the DC and people started DM me, and sadly I don't sell course. This is personal. Yeah, don't worry about it, Ali. Just don't you know, if you don't want to share, don't worry about it. And I'll tell people not to DM you, don't worry. But thank you for sharing. We appreciate it. What a bunch of scumbags. Girl trying to share a little bit of communication and guys just flood into her DM. This is outrageous. I'm on it, Ellie. Don't worry. I'll get on there in a few minutes. Okay, so yeah, you've got this 15-minute order block here, right? You do get a quick wick right off of the box here. And that looks like it could actually be a pretty decent scalp there if you had have been a psychopath and taken that right off. So that's pretty cute. So not sure exactly how you played this out, CryptoYark. We'll take a look at the charts in the Discord, and maybe you can share more on why you got in and how you got in. But that, you know, that starts to look relatively decent, not gonna lie. And then it breaks down and it comes back tested as a breaker block. And now it is going to be some resistance here, right? So it's simply that's about all I could say about that. But if you did take this order block trade, then, you know, you should have taken profit off it. I mean, that's at 18.68. Thank you, Ellie. That's perfect. That's all we can ask for. And then just block them if they DM you. Tell them you're not interested in friends on Discord. That's what I do. I'm kidding. I pretty much accept all DMs. The problem, I didn't find that needs to sell it. The problem, I didn't find that needs to sell it. I bought yesterday before this dump. Oh, at 18. Okay, so around here. Oh, the problem, I didn't find that needs to sell it. So you couldn't find anyone. I didn't find that needs to sell it. You didn't find a reason to sell it. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Or you couldn't find anybody to sell into, to sell your buys to. Yeah, not sure I understand that. But if you bought it yesterday and it moved up this much, I hope you at least took some crazy profit off that, because it's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous trade if you hit that. I didn't find a reason to sell it. You're up 32%. That's a pretty damn good reason to sell some. Why to sell it anywhere? Oh, okay, well, there you are. You're hitting into a peak M formation here. All right. It's already showing you here. If you look back, you've got a little bit of support there, resistance, breaks through, breaks back down. So this is a zone that's had multiple touches to it already. That's what I would say. But we'll go over that in finer detail. All right. I'm going to go do a live in about 10 minutes in the Discord group, actually. So again, join the Discord. Yeah, so yeah, you should have definitely been taking money out of that. That's for sure. All right, Ellie, you don't have to block them then. You don't have to block them. But maybe we'll have to make you a mod and get you selling some of your info. Okay, so NQ1 on the pump. Let's take a quick peek at the bit. There you go. Bitcoin has broken the pre-market range, now retesting the New York opening range. So starting to look pretty darn good. That is holding up. Very nice. Very nice. So let's see if that will do it and if we can start to move our way back up. Now, there is still a decent chance that, you know, we come down, retest the support, maybe retest the previous day's open and the pre-market low, all right? Get these stops hit. There's not much else to do down here. Okay, so our Asia low is way up here, London low too, so everything has been taken out by this time. All they would have to do is come down and sweep the lows of the pre-market to then turn around and clean all these guys out. So be aware of that, could happen. And if it dumps aggressively, look for this tail for the big turnaround, all right? All right, so that is going to bring this to a conclusion. I'm going to go make myself a quick espresso and then hop over onto the Discord where in 8 minutes we go live to have a deeper look at NASDAQ situations and a little bit of a rundown on futures, all right? So you guys have a good one. Be safe, stay well. If you like what you see, hit the like button, please. Means a lot just to walk out of here with a couple likes because I have insecurity issues. Join the Discord community and we'll see you there. Take care, everybody. You have a great afternoon and remember to stay safe.